Hey y'all, Ron here. I'm out in my backyard studio today. Brought the Nikon Z8 with the 100 to 400 Z lens on it. Thought I'd give that a try with some bird studio photography today. Let me walk you around my backyard real quick so you can see where I'm shooting at, and hopefully I can find something good to photograph today. So right here under my deck, okay, I have no lattice work or anything, but I do have a chair, and I do have my Robus 5570 tripod with the Leofoto BV20 fluid head on it, which I'll be using today. And sitting from there, let me just walk you around real quick. I have a bird feeder right here. It's a tube feeder with black oil sunflower seed. And then over here is a perch off of the trellis, and a woodpecker pole, an upside down suet cake feeder, tried to thwart off the European starlings. And then I have a bird bath, which is located right there. And behind that is another pole, another woodpecker pole with another perch or two. And that reminds me, this perch right here, I need to clip that branch off the back side of that, because the other day when I tried to photograph a northern cardinal, that branch was right behind the cardinal. There's my cat, Kitty. When I'm out here photographing, she likes to come out here and be my assistant. And then we have another perch right here that I've got strapped to an old base of an old bird bath. Okay, I have a tray feeder here swinging in the breeze, and in there I have some peanuts and some mealworms. And over here, this is a new addition. Let me show you real quick. This is a new addition right here on this table. It's like another watering area, and I put some logs and branches and what have you, and trying to camouflage the actual black tray. This is a tray you can buy at Walmart for $2.50, and it's one of those trays that you put seedling starters in. And I decided to convert it into some kind of bird bath reflection pool. So what I need to do is go out in the woods and find some moss to kind of line the area around here, kind of camouflage all that. But for today, I've placed some seed in here. Hopefully I'll get some birds that might decide to land on there. Oh yeah, one more thing. I had this old shovel that the handle broke on it. So I spray painted it black a little bit, stuck it out here in the garden behind the little fishing pole guy. And every once in a while a bird will land on there. I think it makes for an interesting composition. So we're gonna get set up. Let me show you real quick. I'll be sitting right under here, under the deck, looking out over my domain. So I just seen a cardinal. I haven't been out here very long, 10 minutes. There's a cardinal that has come into the studio. Unfortunately today, it's really bright sunlight. The sunlight's really harsh, so maybe I can catch some of these birds in the shadows. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We're about 2 hours before sunset. So I'm gonna sit out here for a couple hours and see. There's the cardinal now on the feeder there. Let me see if I can show you. It's on that feeder right there in front of me, dangling on that trellis. The cat is now sitting in my lap. Every time I come out here, this cat has to come out here and be with me. See it right there? What are you doing? You know you're not helping me none. Yeah, you know you're not helping me none. No. What are you gonna do? You gotta love them all. Okay. I'm gonna put this up, see if I can't get a photograph of this cardinal. So it's pretty cool. The cardinal kind of hung around for a minute, and it was down on the ground under that table that I had set up with the little reflecting pond, scavenging some of those seeds, and I was able to get some video footage of it and a few photographs. Now there's a bluebird over there on the bird bath that just flew in, and I have a separate feeder for those. And this is really the perfect time of day to be sitting out in your bird blind or your bird studio, whatever you want to call it. Early morning, my sunlight comes up from that direction, but in the evening light is off to my right, which really does look good in my bird studio with the evening sunlight. That branch that I clipped off of that perch earlier that I was showing you in the video, in the beginning of the video, well, guess what? A cardinal landed and I missed the shot, but maybe it'll come back. I've noticed, and if you do this yourself, you will notice also, I've noticed that the every bird has a little pattern to it where it likes to go. And if you sit out in your backyard long enough and study your birds, you will see these patterns. Just like that cardinal. It wants to eat off the ground. It does not like to go to the feed. Oh, there's a red-bellied woodpecker. It does not like to go to the feeders very much, and it likes to get on the ground. Both the male and the female does. So having it under that table in the previous clip made a lot of sense. I got to get a picture of this red-bellied woodpecker. Now I have several lenses that I could use in the backyard studio. Probably my favorite for the Z system is the 180 to 600 f6.3. The sharpest aperture of that, by the way, is f8. That's a pro tip for you. It's probably the most versatile for me. And then I've got this 100 to 400, which I really love. It's a little bit short for the backyard, but it's good for environmental shots. And then in addition, with I have the 500 PF lens that I could use with the FTZ adapter. But I really, out of all those three lenses, I think my most favorite lens to use is the 180 to 600 out here in the backyard studio. It gives me the most versatile zoom range. And having the Z8 hooked up to these lenses with its 45 megapixel sensor, normally I record at 4K 30. There are some times that I'll go to 4K 120 for slow motion when I bring it into to process it in DaVinci Resolve, just to get some slow motion shot. And I like the slow motion shots. My favorite ones to do are when the birds are in the bird bath splashing around. And I did some of those the other day with some bluebirds in there. Let me show you that clip right now in this video. So I didn't get the picture of the red-bellied woodpecker, but it'll be back. There was a European starling that flew in and kind of spooked it off. And that's one thing you got to watch for. These European starlings, they're like the Hells Angels biker gang of birding, okay? They will come in here 20, 25 at a time and just take over the whole area, devour a suet cake in no time at all, less than a day. It's getting warmer now. This is almost March the 1st. Today's February 28th. It's starting to get warmer now, so I have a feeling I just seen a hawk and it's got something in its talons. I have a feeling that a lot of these European starlings and grackles and what have you will start migrating back north pretty soon, and maybe they won't bother me too much. We're getting close to the spring breeding season here, and that's what I really look forward to, is when we got all this new growth on the plants in the backyard, and then the birds are in here. The males and the females are courting each other. They're feeding. If the female's sitting on eggs, the male comes in and gets food and takes it back to the nest site. It's a really cool time of year to be birding. Using this 100 to 400 lens allows me to get more of an environmental composition of my birds. And really, sometimes doing environmental type compositions instead of filling the frame with a bird is really more pleasing. Just all of it really depends on the perch that they're on, the background that you're dealing with. This is winter time, so there's a lot of browns in the area. So yeah, let me show you a photograph I just took at 400 millimeters of a female northern cardinal. You know, one of the things that I have found myself doing more and more is actually spending more time with your gear, watching helpful videos on how to use your gear more effectively, and actually getting out and shooting with your gear. Over the winter months, we all seem to fall into a funk, for lack of a better word. And one way to get out of that funk is to learn new things about your gear. These cameras that nowadays are so complicated, they're computers, okay? They're just computers anymore. And the more you learn about your gear, the better your shooting will be and the more fun you will have with your gear. Well, I've seen quite a few birds. It's pretty evident in the video that I just showed you. And it always pays to come out and spend some time in the backyard bird studio. Today I used the Nikon Z8 with the 100 to 400 f4.5 to f6.3 lens. Tomorrow, I believe, is supposed to be nice. Tomorrow morning, I believe I'll come out here and use the 180 to 600 and do another video for you. Anyways, my name's Ron Durant. I am a hobbyist photographer. I live in East Tennessee, and you all have a nice day. Hey, by the way, if you got any comments, leave them in the comments for me. By the way, if you got anything you want to add to this video, go ahead and drop me a comment down. I'd love to hear from you, and we'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye. Now in that bird feeder right there, where the titmouse are coming in, I have some raw peanuts. And raw peanuts are really a favorite of the birds. They really love it. You can pick those up at the store. Do not buy peanuts from the grocery store. Go to a feed store. Rural King carries them, raw peanuts. You can get peanuts in the shell too, but I prefer the raw ones. And they do love the shelled peanuts also. There's another titmouse right there coming in to get a peanut. And it's really funny, they will take those peanuts and fly away with them. Now if they're doing if they're eating the black oil sunflower seeds, they will just sit there and crack them open near there. But the peanuts, they like to fly away with them. So what I notice is the titmouse is landing on a branch. This is what's moving in the screen right now, right behind that feeder. And if I could just set up and get focused on that and wait for it to land there, then I might be able to get a pretty good photograph of it. There is looks like a hairy woodpecker on the woodpecker pole. Let's have a look over here and see. I want to say, I got to look at it closely. Yeah, I believe that might be a hairy. We got to look at the beak. Hairies are larger than the downies. They look very similar. How you can tell the difference is by the size of the body and the length of the beak. Yeah, I'm going to believe that there is a hairy woodpecker. is going to the suet feeder, the upside down suet feeder I have right there. What's that camera? There you go. I put my suet cakes upside down like that to try to dwarf the European starlings, because they can't, well, supposedly they can't hang on upside down very good. But let me tell you something, them birds are really smart, and they have adapted to everything that I've done out here in the backyard. But the woodpeckers, they don't have any trouble doing that. I think that's a natural phenomenon for them. Let me zoom in just a little bit. I'm back about 300 millimeters, and I'm going into 400 right there. My video settings on here are not ideal. I'm 1/125th of a second at f9 ISO 140, in case you wanted to know what those were. And off it goes. Now that right there is a downy woodpecker hanging upside down on that suet feeder. And I've got a photograph of a downy woodpecker and a hairy woodpecker on a woodpecker pole together, and let me show that to you in the video right now. I took it sometime, probably a couple years ago, but let me just show you that photograph so you can see the differences between the two birds.